Congressman, thank you for being with us this morning.
Good morning.
I want to play for you a portion of what your colleague, Congressman King, said this morning on the Today Show, and then talk about it on the other side. Let's listen.
The inference he was giving, I mean, anyone who was watching that on Friday night came away with the belief that the president was supporting the building of the mosque. Not just the right, but actually supporting him doing it. Now he's saying he's not supporting it. I think he missed an opportunity.
Congressman, I guess let's start there with that question. Setting aside for the moment the merits of the president's position, do you think he could have communicated it more clearly?
I think any time the president speaks, he was speaking off the cuff. He might have communicated it a bit more clearly, but he's made his position very clear. And I don't think it makes any sense to say, well, he said this on Friday and this on Saturday. You take what he said on Friday and Saturday, and you know where he stands.
Well, it seems that on Friday, which by the way was prepared remarks that he was heavily involved with. So what he said was it's the right of Muslims to worship anywhere they want in this country. And the next day he said he didn't mean his remarks to suggest that he supported this particular project. I mean, do you think, though, that the remarks on Friday night left the impression that he supports the building of this particular mosque near Ground Zero?
I don't know. I didn't pay that close attention to what he said, frankly. I know my position on this, and I know what I think should be done, and the president's made clear his position at this point.
Well, Congressman, what is your position? Is it the same as the president's, that there should be freedom of religion, but unclear on whether... Yeah, go ahead.
My position is there should be freedom of religion, that Americans of the Muslim faith have the same right to build a mosque anywhere that some other people would have the right to build a church or a synagogue, and that it's no business of government to push one way or the other on this situation, period. Government has no role here whatsoever.
Okay.
And that includes government officials should not be pressuring the people behind the mosque to locate it there or not to locate it there.
Do you have a personal opinion about whether they should, whether it's insensitive? I think a lot of folks who don't support this project say, we're not arguing or quibbling over whether or not they're legally able to put it there, but whether as a judgment matter, as a sensitivity matter, they should put it there.
I think the sensitivity, we have to be enormously sensitive to the feelings of people who lost loved ones on 9/11. We know they're hurting. It's an open wound. We know all that. At the same time, the decision as to whether it's appropriate to put a mosque there is for the imam and the people behind the mosque to make that decision. They own the land. It's their private property. It meets all the laws. It's for them to decide. Period.
Are you glad that the president spoke out on this, or do you wish he had kept it to a local issue?
I am glad that the president spoke out on this, because there is an attempt all over the country. This is not the only mosque that's been opposed. There are people who are opposing mosque, period. Newt Gingrich said that no mosque should be built in the United States at all until Saudi Arabia permitted churches and synagogues to be built. And we should lower ourselves to the abysmal tyrannical standards of Saudi Arabia, which makes no sense at all. So this is part of a larger picture too. And I would also say that I would have a lot more respect for the sincerity of people like Newt Gingrich and many of the other Republican opponents who are saying we shouldn't have this mosque here, if they showed sensitivity to the survivors who had their health wrecked by exposure to the toxins in the air after 9/11, and would support the legislation that Carolyn Maloney and I are sponsoring that got 255 votes in the House last week, but with all the Republicans except for 12, including Peter King, who was one of the 12, voting, all of them except for 12 voting against it, to provide health care and compensation to the people who lost their health as a result of this, to the survivors. So I would see that as a much greater focus of sincerity in feeling the pain of the people whose pain we should feel.
All right, Congressman Gerald Nadler, it's great to have your thoughts this morning. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you.